Welcome to the Pearls of Wisdom podcast, brought to you by Southern Jewelry News and Jewelry Store Marketers. Hello, everyone. This is Guy with Jewelry Store Marketers, and we are here with another great episode of the Pearls of Wisdom Jewelry podcast. And as always, thank God, Elesa, Dillon from Southern Jewelry News comes on with me, makes me look good, makes us look good here at the Pearls of Wisdom podcast from Southern Jewelry News. And today our special guest is Lance Pierce from Pierce Custom Jewelers from Lake Mary, Florida. Lance, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is great because we spoke to your wife recently and we heard about how much talent and history that you have. We just had to have you on here as well.
All right. You've already had the better half on. Now you just,
Well, we understand we had the science behind the stone on, right? So she's your wife is a graduated gemologist, and she's, grades all the diamonds, and so she's got the science behind it. But we know who the master jeweler is.
The brute force.
The brute force. Lance, yes.
The brute force. Yes. So we heard about your skill. Why don't you tell us what you've I think I watched some of the video on your website and read some things about you. But why don't you give us a background of your jewelry experience?
Well, before I became a jeweler, I was actually working in cars and body work. I wanted to build custom hot rods. That didn't work out. Very sensitive to the chemicals with all the paints and all that. And I, went to California just to kind of clear my head, figure out what do I want to do. And accidentally gave somebody a ride to GIA, and it was like 105 degrees out, and I didn't want to sit outside. So I sat through the orientation class and signed up for it.
Oh.
And,
well, the funny thing I thought that when you were is how you decided to in 1991 you became a master jeweler. Mm-hmm. But it was, again, this is accident. You took somebody and you decided to sign up, but there was something a little bit more about this story about a Harley Davidson that we might want to hear about. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, so. The reason that I had money to go to school was, it was when my father died. You give an 18-year-old a lot of money. What is he going to do? He's going to do the dumbest thing that he can and buy the most expensive motorcycle he could find. And, I went to the Harley dealership with the money in my pocket, ready to go. And the guy was such a pain in the butt. He treated me like a kid and, patted me on the head, and he took all the fun out of what I was trying to do. And I just got irritated with him, and I left. And I bought a cheap motorcycle and I went to California. So had I bought that motorcycle, I wouldn't have had the money to enroll in GIA. So it was a good thing, overall. And I actually took somebody on that cheap motorcycle over to, GIA to, because they wanted to go to the orientation. They were interested in becoming a jeweler. It was never, even a thought in my head. And so I drove them. It was probably about 45 minutes to get there from where I was. And when I got there, there was no trees. It was 105 degrees out. And, I said, I'm going inside where the air conditioning is. So I sat through the orientation and just decided that day that was something that I'd like to do. It was creative. I get to work with metal, I get to work with my hands. And even better, it was inside. I wouldn't have to.
Yeah.
That's great. Amazing. I think that's great. And I know your dad is probably very proud of that too, that you look at my son, he took that money and look at him now. So
yeah, he tried to blow it and he just wasn't able to.
He might have had some little intervention up there, a little. We'll see. I just thought that was great. There's all different stories on how people come into this industry, and I thought that was very endearing. And
Yeah, I mean, prior to going there, I mean, I really wasn't aware of GIA. And I grew up not with a lot of money, so jewelry wasn't a big thing.
yeah,
But I got to see, watching the class, all the creative different parts of it, the castings, the metalwork, the stone setting. And, I loved working with metal. That was one of the things I loved about working on cars was, taking something and creating something better,
nice.
and I
Yeah,
saw a lot of parallels,
yeah.
except cars are really big and jewelry's little tiny. And that was probably the biggest thing I had to overcome was, I was used to working on large pieces of metal. So when I got into jewelry school, I was really just tearing things up, because I'm working on things that are very, very tiny and I'm
Yeah.
grinding away at them like I normally would.
Right, right.
So I had to learn to have a little bit of a soft touch.
Soft touch. That's amazing. At what point did you realize that day that it was so hot out and you decided to sit through that orientation, that was like the best thing that happened? Actually, I don't know. I don't want to say it's the best thing, but that was a change. That was your life changed at that moment.
I'd be honest with you. I think probably about halfway through, because first I walk in, and I'm just like happy that there's air conditioning. I'm real happy that there's a seat. And then, you start to watch, and then, it's kind of one of those things where it slowly built up. Like now I'm paying attention to what I'm watching. And then I think something clicked because I literally did go to California to try and figure out what am I going to do with my life, you know? Um, I didn't think that was the day I was going to figure it out, but by the end of the class, I was like, I'm signing up, you know, I want in on the next class. I'm doing this,
Right.
you know, and, at the time it was, I happened to be there. I lived not too far from the school. I lived in Hollywood. Um, so it was, at the time, GIA was in Santa Monica. Um,
Yeah.
so it was, about 30 minutes away.
Sure, sure. And for me, I totally believe things happen for a reason. That day, that hot day, you drove your friend there,
Hmm.
and you didn't, that salesperson at the Harley dealership didn't treat you right, and you walked out and didn't spend all your money there on a big fancy bike. And all of those things happened because, there was a certain reason. You were meant to be a jeweler.
Hmm.
And look at you now. You're a jeweler. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
And,
That's great.
I love what I do. And it wasn't long after, becoming a jeweler, because a lot of the jewelers, you know, stick to kind of like the basics, they want to, just do the sizings and the stone settings and things like that. But because of the way I was with cars, like I never met a car I didn't want to chop up and make better, and I'm kind of like that with jewelry, and it's taken me a long way because, people come in with their grandmother's diamond ring and they go, it's my grandmother's diamond ring, but it doesn't fit me. It doesn't suit me. And I'm like, all right, cool. Let's make you another one, and hot rod everything, kind of custom fit it to the person that's going to be wearing it. And I always, once I got good at sizing and things, I was always like, I want to make jewelry. I don't want to just size it. I don't want to just fix it. I want to make it. I want to do stuff that nobody's had before. And that's really the stuff that I like to do.
And that's
That's
the
amazing.
stuff that you actually fill your showcases with, right? I mean, most of your jewelry, I mean, you are Pierce Custom Jewelers, but yeah,
Not
I
as much
mean,
as I would like.
right.
We still sell a lot of jewelry. We carry a lot of Simon G. But I sometimes I have a hard time keeping up with the custom work from customers coming in.
Yeah.
I get to put a few pieces out. What I am trying to do is put more of my stuff in the case. And if I can get a little time, I certainly will. I've got a mountain of custom cut stones that I'm just dying to, make something with.
Mm.
Never enough time in the day.
No, I think you're a lot like a lot of master jewelers. They have, not enough time in the day, plenty to do just walking in. But yes, they all have that same desire to fill everything up with your own work.
I would
So,
love that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll get there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Yeah. Well, what's the best thing about making custom jewelry for you?
There's just a creative edge to it. So I had a customer, one of my recent ones, we just approved it. She came in, she had her original engagement ring, and then she also inherited a piece from her mother. And she wanted to kind of blend the two together. When she originally got married, it was, a little marquee, engagement ring. And then her mom's ring was huge, big, ornate with all these diamonds. And she's like, I love the idea of a big ring. She goes, but, I want my stone in there. And then, I said, all right, well, tell me about you. If I'm going to create a ring, tell me about you. I want to know what you like, what you do. And they have a very strong relationship with Scotland. And, her husband's family has Scottish heritage. So, I took part of that and, intertwined that into the band. There was a Scottish braided ring that they both really liked. And I put that in there. I added her center stone to it, put a halo around it to kind of accentuate it. And then I took some of the larger stones out of her mother's ring and then had them going down the side. So I kind of put it all together, and then when they saw it, they were like, oh my God, and it'll be a one of a kind. And so when I do a piece like that, I won't even remake it. It's just, it's a one of one for them. I spend the time asking the questions about them, and, they get a ring that hopefully she can pass down to her kids.
that's what
Amazing.
it's all about.
Amazing.
That's what I love. When I can do something like that, that's a great piece of jewelry.
Yeah.
Because I look at it this way. I look at jewelry as little time capsules, and to me, it'll take you back to who gave it to you, when you got it, what was going on. So if you can attach a piece of jewelry to an incredible moment in your life, those two will always, just looking at it will bring it all rushing back.
Wow. Absolutely.
Well, I'll tell you, when my son got married a couple of years ago, I picked out the jewelry before I even picked out the dress. So the whole, my mother of the groom dress was really based upon the jewelry that I bought. I bought it specifically for a reason, and that was to pass it down to my first granddaughter or granddaughter. So it was specifically known. I bought this really a very unique piece, matching, and this is to be handed down for generations.
And that's the
Because
story that's going to go with it.
that's right. And again, I think what you're, any custom and again, what you're doing is putting that on the shelf as a one-off and a special one of a kind. That's this industry is built on that, and it is memories that we're making for the future generations. And I love that. So
Yep. Lance, I think you guys should have a reality show.
Oh, my wife says that all the time.
The thing is, they have those reality shows, those cake makers. They talk about what's your interest, what do you want it to look, and then they craft it, they design it, and then the reveal. And I can totally see you doing that with jewelry, with somebody taking that piece that was an heirloom, and then, like you just said, you take some pieces from it, redesign it, make it better, newer, just perfectly for them. And I can totally see. I see it.
yeah, y'all just record yourself one day. Have somebody do a whole filming for you, and we'll put it on this podcast, and we'll be life.
Well, so
at Pierce Custom Jewelers, because y'all are a trip. I know it. I know y'all are you're making all kinds of cool stuff over there.
the
It would be fun.
customers are the more interesting part.
Yes.
They really are.
I bet.
Right. Yeah. That would be awesome, and I think the way you take your passion for making jewelry and making, being creative, and then you help customers realize what they're looking for, making something that really important for them. I think there's those two things are just really valuable. Not all jewelers do that. They do have that skill, but sometimes they don't take the steps that I hear that you take, maybe in some.
So I would tell anybody to, let your customer talk, and without realizing it, they will tell you what they want. They might walk in the door and say, I have no idea what I want. All right, well, tell me about you.
Yeah.
Tell me what you like. Tell me what you do. Are you going to wear it all day? Do you work with your
Hmm.
hands? And, the more they talk, I mean, usually there's a point where it just clicks. I know exactly what you're looking for,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah,
That's
that's
being a
amazing.
good jeweler. I'll say it again. You have to build the trust, and by getting to know somebody like that, they're
mhm.
trusting you. So when you
Right.
like tell everybody when you pick your jewelers, just like picking your doctor, you have to trust them.
It's a
You're,
trust business.
it is a trust business. So yeah. What advice would you give to someone who wants to be in your position right now and just, creating every day, becoming a master jeweler? What's a piece of advice you could give someone who might be listening out there and wants to
All right.
do the
Well,
same thing?
first things first, you have to be able to be a good bench repair jeweler. And I say probably I learned more about what a custom piece of jewelry would be by the jewelry that I fix. Because
Mm,
if you can't fix something that's broken and bring it back, then you can't create something from nothing. And also, the repairs that you do will teach you why that piece broke in the first place. If I'm working on a piece of jewelry and it's always breaking on the bottom because it's too thin, that's heads up. When you make a piece of jewelry, don't make it like this because it's going to continue to break. You know, um, Learn how to set, and be good at your craft. Like when I was working, on cars, I was in auto body first. Fixing cars that were in accidents. Because if you can't fix that, you can't build a car from scratch. You can't. It's not even possible. You're not going to be good enough unless you can take something that's broken and bring it back to life. You've got no shot. So take pride in being able to repair jewelry. Don't think you're above that and want to go straight to being a custom jeweler. You know, be good at all aspects of jewelry. That's as important as I can say. And the more you learn about anything, you never know how it's going to like relate to jewelry later.
right.
A lot of the skills I learned in the auto trade, you know, I've kind of, brought it into the way I do jewelry. And, a lot of the old school jewelers go, why would you even think of that? And I go, well, I used to do this, when I was welding sheet metal. Why wouldn't it work here? And they're like,
Wow.
Yeah.
so open your mind too.
Yeah, that's good.
Hmm.
Awesome.
Just curious, Lance. In your many years of creating jewelry for customers, is there a piece that really stands out for you, or a customer that the story really touched you or made you? And it doesn't have to be the biggest, the most shiniest, beautiful, ring or piece of jewelry, but maybe the reason behind it, the story behind it was really powerful. That one that you just can't forget.
Well, there's one that I can't forget, and it wasn't even a piece of jewelry. And my wife loves it because it makes me cry every time I talk about it. But it was
Oh, get the Kleenex.
I know. I actually engraved an oxygen tank. I was on vacation with my wife, and we got a phone call from a friend of mine, and it's a tough one. His friend passed away, and they're having him cremated, and they wanted to put him in this oxygen tank because he was big into scuba diving. And so I actually left vacation a day early and went back, and it's a bright blue tank. And I hand engraved him standing on his boat. And, I didn't charge him for it. It really wasn't about that. But, they put the ashes in there. And, it was the craziest thing I'd ever done, and the family really appreciated it. And I'd never even met him. I did it because a very good customer of mine asked me to do it.
Wow.
But, it was kind of a neat mural of him standing at the end of his boat. He used to wear these glasses. So it was kind of a silhouette of him in these shorts, and he's just standing on the front of the boat.
Wow.
It came out really cool.
That's beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That one will stay with you. Like he's just thinking about it.
Right.
The emotion that it brings to you. Mm-hmm. That's what jewelry does. It's just amazing that
and that's
how it moves you.
Right, and the part about this, even though it's not a piece of jewelry, it's my jewelry skills.
Yes.
Where I was able to do this. Nobody but a jeweler could have done this.
Right.
And I don't know what made my friend even think, hey, my buddy can do that. But, he did.
Yeah. Yeah. It took a jeweler. That's amazing. Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I've got some great customers. I have one customer who I probably made, I'm not even kidding when I say 7,500 pieces,
Wow.
and they seem to get my best work because they just go, all right, here, I've got this ridiculously big opal. What can you do with it? And then they just let me run with it,
Love it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's amazing. Well, I'm sure there's lots of stories throughout the years of, things that have so much, not just value, but I don't know, sentiment to it. And
that's what it is.
Yeah. And you are really part of people's lives from the beginnings and the ends, and like Elesa said, you got to trust your jeweler like you trust your doctor. So, but it doesn't just come down to skill. So you got to care for people. You got to show that you care.
Big time, because, the more that you're involved, with them, the more they are going to trust you. And, I try to get my customers to come back, not just come in to buy a piece of jewelry, but I want to take care of that jewelry too. I tell them, come by at least every 2 months and let me see it, because I'd rather, if I see a prong's getting ready to bend or break, I'd rather fix it now and then, send you on your way. And then I tell them, I tell them, if you do that, then you can spend your money on new jewelry.
That's right.
But it also allows me to check it, clean it. It walks out looking nice. And, I like it when my customers' jewelry looks brand new all the time. And people will ask them, hey, where'd you get that from?
Yeah, exactly.
And then also when you treat them like that, when somebody asks them about getting a piece of jewelry work done, you're going to have a strong reference, and they're going to say, this is the guy you got to go see.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
And that's it. I mean, if every time you get somebody that'll personally, say, that's my jeweler, that's better than, advertising that you could put on a billboard or
Absolutely.
in a magazine.
Yeah, it is.
Yep, absolutely. It kind of comes back, I kind of think back to your question, Elesa. What advice do you have? And to new jewelers trying to, some of these things that you're talking about, you don't learn in jewelry school how to take care of people, how to be a human being to someone else. This you could learn how to cast and weld and mount stones and all that stuff, but it sounds like the thing that you really have mastered beyond the jewelry skills is that the people skills, the soft skills that make you their jeweler, not just another jeweler, but that's my jeweler. Lance, he's my guy, and that's something that you can't it's hard to train for. You can't. It's hard to teach people that stuff.
And I guess that's one of the things I would say to the kids: get your face out of your phone and learn how to talk to a person eye to
Yeah.
eye.
Right.
It's probably one of the biggest skills being lost today.
Right. Yeah.
Is people speaking in text,
Yeah. Yeah.
but if you can't talk to somebody eye to eye, you're missing a huge skill.
Absolutely. Yes. Exactly.
Just being able.
Oh,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, just being able to talk to somebody, is a big thing.
Yeah.
That's a good skill. There was one thing on your website that really struck me, and it's in line with what we're saying right here, is that you said we take care of those who belong to us.
Exactly.
And that mission statement, or whatever it may be, is so powerful. And I loved that you put that up on your website, showing that you're taking care of people. And Guy, I think this is what you're talking about. These are skills that you bring to the table, because that's the kind of person you and Melissa are, and you change your staff. But you obviously really care about these people at your store, and people you meet along the way. And I know you treat your supplier community the same way, and people. I've seen you at shows, and everybody talks so nicely about you. Shout out Aubrey, RDI.
But and being close, having a good relationship with your suppliers is huge. Because I'm very blessed. Our reps are amazing people. And I've got a relationship with each and every one of them. And every now and then, I need to call in a favor. And when I do, they're willing to do it, because we do have a back and forth. And anytime any of them have needed anything from me, be willing to give back to them. I know that one of my suppliers, he had a customer of his that was in a real pinch, and he needed a piece of jewelry that I had, and he's like, hey, would you be willing to send it out? And I'm like, absolutely. And I'm taking care of, my guy. He's trying to take care of his customer, and we can help each other, like that. And I know the jewelry business is tough. It's very rare that you find a lot of jewelers playing nice with each other, but it's important that we do. I think, and just as important with your suppliers. Don't treat them like, that's just a company. We're all people. We're all trying to, get through, and anything that you can do for them, if you need something, they're going to be more than willing to help you later. But, if you crap on that guy, when you need something, he's going to get you back.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Be kind.
Absolutely.
To your suppliers. It's a partnership.
It is. These are not just people on the other end of a phone.
Exactly.
Right.
So,
and you do. You forge relationships, and really you become family to these people in a lot of ways too. You click with some more than others, but at the main point, you're close knit, and that helps business even more. You help each other out.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the philosophy, and I love your energy, and Melissa, and your store, and just your strong beliefs in what you're doing. It's amazing.
Well, I spent a lot of my years, the first 17 years, working for a store, and he wasn't a good person, and he ended up. It turns out that he ended up stealing money from me. So when I opened my store, it really wasn't about I just want to be rich. I want a nice place to work. I want to go to work. I want to have fun. And you can accomplish all those things and still have a good time. I bring my dogs to work every single day, all three of them.
Have we gotten them in Furry Friends on the Job yet? I need them in my Furry Friends on the Job section.
Oh, hold on. Here, Gus, come here.
Come here, Gus. Oh, yeah. I remember we met Gus before.
Did you?
Gus,
Come here,
don't
Gus.
you want... Don't you want to be featured on the Furry Friends?
There you go.
Pages. Oh, he's so cute.
This good guy.
Hey, guys.
Hey,
Hey, buddy. Hey, boo-boo.
Hey, look at that. There you go.
Well, they always make the workday better. I don't care who you are.
Yep, they do. They do.
Those Furry Friends.
Yes.
So we would love to feature him in the Furry Friends on the Job.
All right,
I think I'll have to tell Melissa. I'll send y'all an email about that.
All right, we'll get them in
Because
there.
we'd love to feature them.
Yeah, absolutely. So amazing.
Great.
And we talked about a lot about jewelry, but the other time Melissa was telling us about the room that you're in the music room, and I hear you might be into music as well.
She told me that you were going to do this today.
He's dying. He's like, get him out of here.
No, I was like, all right, well, I better go tune one of these guitars up because it was horribly out of tune this morning. So
Are you going
We got
to
her
play something?
on the piano.
Right.
She kind of put it on the piano. She was just like, ding, ding.
I do not play piano.
Okay.
Look at this. This is the first, Elesa.
Ooh, here we go.
All right, there we go.
Pearls of Wisdom first.
Lance, are you in a band?
I am not in a band.
Oh, okay. You don't have time to be in a band.
No, so I used to be in a band growing up.
There you go.
Yeah, but, it's kind of like babysitting.
Oh, I know. Yep.
Talk about, having 5 jewelers in a room together and trying to accomplish one thing.
Yeah.
It's too much. So now I do a lot with the acoustic only. I have a lot of electrics, but I don't even really plug them in anymore. Now I just kind of do these.
All right. What you got for us today?
Nice. Awesome.
Name that tune. Name that tune, guy.
I don't know it. Do you know it?
I'm trying to figure it out.
You won't know it. It's one that I wrote.
Okay.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It doesn't have a name, so I don't even know what to tell you.
Master jeweler. That's what I master.
Master jeweler, music writer, car, I don't know, builder.
Body shop, but body.
I don't work on the cars anymore.
No.
I want cars that run now.
I understand. Yes, easier that way.
It is. Listen, I love the old classic cars, but I don't want to have to tinker with it every time I take one out anymore. I just want to start.
Do you have a classic that you've worked on, or that you love riding around on the weekends on?
The last classic car I had, I crashed it, so it's gone now. I wrapped it around a telephone pole.
Uh-oh.
Ruh-roh.
What was that? What kind of car was it?
It was a 1972 Plymouth Roadrunner.
Wow.
And it was awesome.
Was it convertible?
No, it was not a convertible. It was by the time I was done with it.
Yeah. There you go. Well,
wow.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Well, this has just been lovely talking to you, and obviously we appreciate you taking your time out of your day to talk to us. Give us all your pearls of wisdom today.
Yes.
We really appreciate that.
Well, thank you. It was a lot of fun.
Yes, it was really amazing. Thank you for playing the guitar for us. That was great. And we'll have to. Maybe we should put it up for the community. What should we name the song? All
right, figure it out. Let me know.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
While we're ending, you could play the song while we're cutting out, and that hey, we could use a new Pearls of Wisdom.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Theme song.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Just give you another one.
Okay, perfect. Well, Lance, thank you so much for joining us here. It's been amazing, and you're playing the guitar, playing us out in this episode. So this is a special one for everyone listening. Make sure you tune in and watch. Go give Pierce Custom Jewelers some love. Give Lance and Melissa over there some love. Of course, everybody loves Elesa and Southern Jewelry and Mid-America Jewelry News. Make sure you give them tons of love. And this has been...
Be sure you give some extra special love to our Guy Pineda, with Jewelry Store Marketing.
Thank
Get your
you.
SEO up and call Guy. He knows what to do.
Well, thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you. Thanks, everyone. We'll catch you on the next one. Thanks, Lance. Take care, guys.
Thanks, Lance.
Thanks for listening to the Pearls of Wisdom Jewelry Podcast. For more information about the show, please visit southernjewelrynews.com/podcast, brought to you by Southern Jewelry News and Jewelry Store Marketers. Make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you can catch the next show. See you then.